We are live for another episode of The Panel. As always, I'm here with my guy, Tyler, my co-host, 138 MMA. And today we're joined by Key 3 Picks, one of my favorite people in the space, one of the sharpest in the space. And we used to do some fantasy content back in the day. So always good to do stuff with Key. And yeah, so we'll do the usual. We'll go around in a circle. We'll talk about how we feel about the card. You guys all know that I'm biased as hell when it comes to Max. He's right behind me here. And this over here is a Max Holloway signed glove. So you can probably already guess my pick for the night in the main event, but we'll talk about it when we get there. But I'm psyched for it. Phillips is another guy who I really, really like, and I'm excited to see him fight. So I'm looking forward. Tyler, how you feeling about the card, my brother?
I don't know. I've got mixed feelings because on one hand, I think it's going to be an exciting card, but on the other hand, I'm like, man, it seems kind of like an odd pay-per-view card, if you know what I mean. Like, I'm not saying it's a bad card, but it feels like it's just missing a little something. But I mean, it should be fun. They're always fun. I literally would watch two bums fight in an alleyway and be happy. So like, I don't care. Let's get fights.
You recently did one of those, like a breakdown video for the backyard fights, right?
Yeah, for Dan Hooker's thing. It was a 2-part video. The part 2 is better than the part 1 because part 1 the audio was like the levels were off. Part 2 I fixed that. So
I gotta check it out because I gotta switch up my. I absorb a lot of content because I drive like 3 hours a day pretty much.
Yeah.
But I'm so tired of listening to people's breakdowns and I feel like it screws me up a little bit. So I got to just start watching you break down dudes fighting in Dan Hooker's backyard. But how about you, Key? How you feeling about the card?
Yeah, I can't complain about levels of cards. I subject myself to regional women's MMA on the regular. So this isn't too crazy to me. I think this not pay-per-view high level stuff, but it's going to be an entertaining card. I think that's all you can ask for.
Yeah, and I think they at least set themselves up for a lot of finishes. So usually as long as there's a lot of finishes, people are happy. And hopefully we can make some money too. Let's catch up with the chat real quick. Just a couple people in there. Tristan for the algorithm. Thank you, Tristan. Always appreciate you hopping in. We got Circumstances. Oh, Circumstances. Nice. I think this is the first time I'm seeing him in here. So thank you for tuning in. We got our guy Daz. What's good, Daz? I agree. I think it's a pretty good card. All right. First fight of the night. We've got Carly Judice versus Nicole Caliari. Tyler, what you feeling here?
Dude, I've been the biggest fan of Carly Judice since she was going to go on the Contender Series. And I remember I'm sitting there in an airport when I'm tape studying her fight for the Contender Series, right? Because I'm coming back from South Carolina. And I'm sitting there in the airport and I'm like, this chick is phenomenal. Like her output is insane. Her striking she hasn't even hardly been training. Like she was in softball or whatever it was. I think it was softball. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, this girl's fantastic. And then she proceeds to get, I'm not going to say robbed, but like she outlands both of her opponents in purely striking matchups essentially and somehow loses 2 split decisions. I thought she won both of them. And then finally the MMA god smiled upon her and she gets that head kick. Carly Judice all day. I'm not saying Caliari's bad by any means. I just think Judice's output is like, it's top tier. Like if you look at like the fantasy game things or whatever, they're all lining her significant strikes at like 100 in a 3-round fight. And it's like, yeah, probably. I mean, unless she gets into the first round knockout. The girl's output's fantastic. She's tough. Her cardio never fades. Like this girl can put out 100 strikes like easy. Defense takedowns, gets right back up. I'm a big fan. I think she should be undefeated right now, but hopefully those really close split decision losses helped her grow. So Judice, easy.
All right. How about you, Key?
Yeah, I'm a Judice lover also. I've been on her since the Ernesta fight. I mean, that was my first introduction to her, but I mean, she has blown me away. I think that she's legit as they come. And I think that she's a future top 15, top 10 girl in this weight class. The mix of size, rhythm, speed, and you just don't see people with that diverse of striking set at this level. I mean, it's just really rare. I was on her ITD at plus 200 against Douv. And I'm old enough to remember whenever people were making dog shot arguments for Douv, and now all of a sudden everybody loves Judice after one head kick. But I think that she's shown it. She's put it on tape that she has finishing upside here. Caliari, I played her against Laframboise on Dana White Contender Series. In hindsight, I didn't like that bet, honestly. She was looking like she was on her way to adrenalining herself out in that fight. And I don't like seeing her play off of her back so consistently. So I think that she probably tries to initiate some grappling here. but I doubt that she gets much going. Judice has shown solid get-ups, solid hips. So I don't expect Caliari to get much going. I could see Judice finding a finish in round 2, round 3, or a high volume decision. But Judice is the goods. I think the early parlay numbers were great on her. Yeah, Judice rolls.
Preach it, brother.
Yeah, I tend to agree. I'll disagree with Tyler in that I do think she lost both the splits. I had her against Karras
She's outlanded him by like 20 strikes. How is she like?
Okay, come on. Now you just sound like a casual. Oh, but the numbers say that she outlanded her. Since when is it numbers?
Yeah, but since when did they do anything else?
I thought it could go either way, but I thought Karras won. I thought that Fernandez won. I had Judice against Karras. I had Fernandez against Judice. And then I stayed away from the Dubin fight because I thought she would run through Dubin, but I didn't really want to put my money behind it. In this particular matchup, like, yeah, I agree with you guys. I think Caliari is fine. I think her striking is decent, but I don't think she can compete with Judice. I think Judice is faster, way better striking, much, much higher output. And I just think she's going to overwhelm her. My only concern with like parlaying the money line, and this is why I haven't done it, is that her takedown defense has looked good. She seems athletic, but against who? Like, who's shooting on her, really? Like, Fernandez is usually the one struggling with grapplers. Karras is not a grappler. And Caliari, not an amazing grappler, but probably a step up from those people in terms of just straight grappling. So I don't really want to get behind the money line, but I do like the late finish props. I like the round 2, the round 3 knockout props. I think those numbers are kind of absurd considering the output from Judice, the cardio differences here between the two of them, and just the stylistic matchup. If Judice can keep it on the feet, and I think later in the fight she will, I think she's probably going to put Caliari away. So I do like her here, and I'm with you guys there. And we can move
40
on.
significant strikes she outlanded her Fernandez by. 40 significant strikes. Both
Bro, I am sure there's more than one bet out there where you won, where your fighter got outlanded but won anyways. I'm positive.
For sure. But like, I also will accept that, yeah, I was gifted one there. Like, for example, I was kind of gifted one. I didn't bet on Bonfim, but I was gifted one on the pick to give me my 11-1 last week on those. Like, let's be honest.
Oh yeah, get out of here, dude. Get out of here. Every panel we have, I say I need a new co-host. I still have not received a single resume, but like,
because they all suck, man.
Somebody get this dude out of here. What is this?
I was gifted one. I'll take it. I'm not gonna say it wasn't, but
at least you admit it.
Yeah, I never doubted it. I said that's like legit. If there's a spot where I think, oh, I was gifted, like Renat over Carlos Leal, I was gifted that one. I had a bet on Renat that time. So yeah, but Judice definitely beat Fernandez. I don't care what anybody says.
All right, we can move on. Next up, we've got a really big underdog and a really funky matchup. We got Bruno Ferrara versus Jackson McVey. Key, you like the underdog here?
No, and I was actually on my way to backing Chris Ewart against McVey.
Me too. I had 2 units on him.
Yeah, I thought it was Ewart time for sure. But I think that here McVey, it's the same read as before. We just don't know enough. He looks like he's not going to be able to deal with the physicality and the power of Bruno. In the clinch, it's not like he's going to be safe, so to speak. We know that Bruno has decent judo. He's shown the ability to find subs and scrambles. That the Petrosian fight still pisses me off. But I think.
Did you also have Petrosian?
Yes, sadly. I am a victim of loving Armin Petrosian way too much.
Me too.
But I think that here, though, Bruno probably finds the round 1 KO. McVey, I hate that he goes from Cedricus Dumas to Chris Ewart to now Bruno Ferrara. I mean, it just seems unfair, but whatever it takes to get in the UFC.
Yeah, I was also backing Ewart against McVey. Honestly, I'm kind of glad that the fight fell off because if he missed 10 pounds, that boy was not training. Like, my whole breakdown was better cardio, pace, pressure, has to be in camp already for Dana White's Contender Series. And then he missed his weight by 10 pounds, and I was like, yeah.
It was so surprising because I was looking at Jose Torres, his coach, because he was around with Waldo before Waldo's fight. So it looks like it was looking like he was training. And then to find out he was like fucking 200 and whatever pounds whenever he accepted, I'm like, what the hell is he doing?
Yeah, so I feel like we may have dodged a bullet there. So I'm kind of glad that we got that one back. But here it's just hard. Like, we don't know anything about McVey. His cardio could be awful. It could be amazing. You know, there's guys like I remember Isaac Dulgarian. I really doubted that he had the cardio past round 1 because he never had. And it turned out that he could go past round 1. He did gas, but he could do it. And he still had a very competitive fight with C-Rod. So it's possible McVey comes out here and he does have the gas tank for 3 rounds. But it's also entirely possible that he doesn't. We don't know what his skills are actually like. Like, to me, his striking seems okay. The chin is kind of high up and he seems hittable, which is going to be a problem against Bruno Ferreira, who hits like a train, but he's really good in the clinch. He's really opportunistic with the subs, but I don't know if that's because he's facing awful competition or because he's good. So I just have a lot of questions, and I don't like the matchup for him with Ferreira. The only thing I will say is, like I just said with McVey, we don't know about the cardio. With Ferreira, we know he doesn't have good cardio. He's going to get tired. But I think he probably knocks out McVey in the first round. I do think he'll maybe struggle with the range a little bit, but I don't see much from McVey in terms of like actually maintaining the range. I don't see him popping a jab. I don't see him using teeps or fantastic movement. Kind of just moves forwards, clinches up, and then just starts ripping knees and trying to get a sub. So I don't think it's going to work against Ferreira. I think Ferreira gets it done, but I'm not trying to back him at this number. I've never been super high on him. I think he's at the wrong weight class, and I don't trust his gas tank, and I'm pissed at him for beating Petrosian. So I'll pick Ferreira, but no bet from me. How about you, Tyler?
Yeah, so you're right about there's a lot of unknowns about McVey. And at plus 525 that he was earlier in the week, I'm willing to take a gamble on those risks. And because I know what we're going to get from Ferreira. Ferreira. He's pretty good at certain things, but like he's also way short compared to a guy that's way tall. So the thing that makes that important is even if he's not good at maintaining range, who's going to be able to fire off and land first? It's like the amount of danger zone that Ferreira has to cross before he can even get his weapons involved is pretty substantial. So at plus 525, give me a shot on McVey. And if he loses, you don't have to pay a whole lot to get a decent return on that. So we'll take it. I'm taking McVey.
Yeah, I don't hate it at all. Quarter unit shot, even a half unit shot, makes sense to me.
I put $20 on him. That's
nice.
it. Nice. I mean, for that though, like it's pretty good.
All right. So we can move on. Next up, we got a fight that I've got a bit of a hot take on. We have Ryan Spann versus Lucas Brushki. I'll start us off. I'm Team Brushki, baby. Let's go. I haven't played the money line yet because I do think he can get knocked out in the first round. I think that's entirely possible, but I'm picking him outright because the way I see it, like I don't think Spann knocks him out 51 or whatever % of the time in the first round. And if he doesn't, I think he's going to struggle. Ryan Spann is very explosive, very athletic, probably the more technical striker, the more dangerous striker, and definitely the more dangerous grappler. But that all goes out the window after the first round. Like, when has he had like a super competent performance over 15 minutes? Never. And when has he come out here and actually grappled over 15 minutes? Also, never. So I don't trust him to do that here either. Brushki's not the best. I get it. And I get that people don't, that his chin's not bad, that his chin is bad. People don't trust it. And I agree. I don't necessarily trust his chin either. Like I said, I think Spann can finish him early. But I think there's also a very good chance that he doesn't. And if we get out of the first round, I think the takedowns are going to be a lot harder for Spann to get. I don't think Brushki's takedown defense is all that bad. I don't think his get-ups are all that bad either. I think his get-ups are pretty solid. I don't think Spann's going to have a lot of success in the grappling after the first. And in the striking, I think Spann is going to really slow down. The output is not going to be there. And I think Brushki's just going to throw a lot more. He's going to be in his face. He's just going to do more, win the minutes. And I think he's going to win a decision. So I like Brushki late props. I like Brushki decision props. I like stuff like that. Maybe a fight goes the distance if you don't want to get involved on picking a side. I like all of that. Anything but Spann for me. How about you, Tyler?
Brother, you don't have to convince me about anything. The amount of money I've made just auto betting against Ryan Spann, it's great. And it doesn't matter who he's fighting. Like, yeah, that's Ryan Spann in there. And I don't, he just falls apart mentally. And he's also super unlikable. So that helps as well. Like, it makes me not want to root for him anyway.
Is he?
Yeah.
I don't listen to interviews. So I often don't know their personalities.
Dude, don't listen to a Ryan Spann interview. It's hard to listen to. It makes you feel uncomfortable for the people interviewing him. It's rough, dude. But yeah, no, like Brushki was my first click of the card. Like, easy. He was like +2 something or another. And I said, okay, anybody that's +2 something against Ryan Spann that's in the UFC, I'm taking that shot, especially up at heavyweight now. He didn't look any better at heavyweight. Yeah, Brushki for sure. I'm not confident in Brushki, don't get me wrong. Like, normally I'd bet against him too. Like, it's usually an auto bet against both of these guys, but definitely against Spann, especially when he's a favorite. So Brushki all day.
Yeah, I'll admit I bet Brushki a little bit more than I should. I think I bet on him like almost every time.
Yeah, no, I don't know that I've ever bet on him. This might be a first for me, actually.
I will say, Martin Budai, I deserve that win. I deserved that win. He was like plus 225. I had 2 units on him. I was very confident and got robbed.
You might have got robbed on that one. I don't think I had any action on that.
I got it back with Walker, who now has 3 heel hook wins in a row, which is just outrageous. At this point, I hope they keep giving Walker people who can't grapple so he can just like, go on a crazy heel hook run, because that would be phenomenal.
3 in a row is insane.
But Key, what do you think about this one?
Yeah, you're flaring up my PTSD from having a Kennedy round 2, round 3 bet last week.
Oh no,
seeing that shit is just that. Yeah, fuck Walter. But I think Walker. I think the Span probably gets him out of there in round 1. I'll be honest. I outside of that though, I mean, all the upside has to go to Brushki, because Span will literally, you put Span in the octagon for 15 minutes by himself, and it feels like he might fall apart. Like it just does not go well after 5 minutes. So I think that here, I was hoping that maybe we magically could get great round 1 prices on Span, but that's not happening. So for me, there's no real angle to play Span here. So I think it is dog or pass here.
Yeah, the only thing I can think of is maybe like you play Span round 1 or maybe even round 2 and then live bet Brushki, but
yeah,
team Brushki for me. All right, we can move on. Next up, we've got we got Jimmy Crute versus Marcin Prachnio. Tyler, who are you feeling here?
So I don't know how Jimmy Crute's going to somehow not win this fight. Like, I'm picking him to win, but like, how are we going to get a draw or a no contest or something like that? Like, somehow
he'll figure
Jimmy
it out.
Crute's gonna
Trust him. He'll figure it out.
He's somehow going to, yeah, exactly. It's somehow either gonna, like, I'm considering just betting the draw, but like, since the draw line stays the same, I don't have to worry about line movement. I'm probably just going to bet the draw at some point this week, even if you can't track draw bets. So I probably won't like do anything like that, but you know, 10, 20 bucks on that draw. It's a Jimmy Crute fight. Like it cashed last time. I mean, come on now. So I can't pick a draw as an official pick. Like that's not gonna work out. So I'll take Jimmy Crute because Prachnio can't grapple like at all. Like he got submitted with a move that like he was in no danger of it actually being in. Like the dude was still across his body somehow on that arm triangle, and it's like how? Yeah, I don't know. So so if Jimmy Crute just goes to the ground, but then watch the dude just like not do that, or he'll take him to the ground after getting 10-8'd in the first or something, and then he lays on him for 2 rounds and somehow can't finish him. I don't know. I'm picking Jimmy Crute. These are 2 guys that I also auto bet against both of them every time. So I don't know what to do here. I guess Jimmy Crute, and I feel bad because he hasn't had a win since it's been 5 years. So yeah, that sucks.
How about you, Key?
Yeah, I think Jimmy gets it done pretty easily. I think that he wins on the feet and on the mat. If he's smart, he shoots early. I think the only risk here is like leg kicks adding up, or Prachnio head kick in the pocket, as always. Shout out to Bukowskis for eating that shit. I think that here, this is very clear. Prachnio is like a special type of ass. I'll be honest. Like, it is unreal that he's still in the UFC. So shout out to him for lasting this long. But I think that here, Crute gets it done. The UFC's been trying to get Crute this matchup at UFC 312. They tried to have this, I believe Prachnio tore his bicep. And that's what he's coming back from. So that's even worse signs to hear. I think Crute gets it done inside the distance. I have a decent amount of units on him here.
Yeah. So I've been also trying to figure out a way to play Crute. I normally don't like laying chalk on like any props, but I'm strongly considering the ITD because I do think he can knock out Prachnio. I think he can out grapple Prachnio. It's just tough when the dude is literally hasn't won in 5 years, keeps getting into these weird draws, has really strange performances, retired, had injuries. He's still only 29 years old, and it's already been a whirlwind. But like Prachnio's 37. I've never liked his game. I've never thought very highly of him. I don't like these karate styles most of the time, at least not his kind of karate style. I don't really think he has much emphasis on anything in the striking, and his grappling is really poor. I think that Jimmy Crute, as long as he doesn't stay at kicking range, which I wouldn't put it past him to just stay at kicking range, but as long as he doesn't do that, he should be the better boxer, should have more power, should have the better chin, and clearly is the better grappler. So I think he gets it done. I think he gets it done ITD. I'm going to be so pissed if I put down 1.3 units on the ITD and then he goes to a decision or gets a draw. Like, I'll just be kind of pissed, but I do think he finishes him at a really high clip. And I'm actually kind of surprised that the ITD is only minus 130.
Jimmy Crute is 0-3-2 in his last 5 fights. That's just I don't know how he's still in the UFC. Like, at least Praau's got 2 wins in his last 5 fights.
And he just signed a new 4-fight deal too. So it's not even like he's fighting for his job. It's crazy.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, I don't get it. I don't like, who does he have dirt on? Like, it's got to be somebody. Like, I'm not saying that they should cut him. They've cut way better fighters for less, is all I'm saying.
Who is the one who lasted like 7 losing fights in a row? Is that Alvey?
Yeah, I think it was Alvey set the record for it.
Yeah, I think it was 9 actually, wasn't it?
And now he's a champion in karate combat.
Well, so karate combat though, like that's a spot for a guy like Alvey. He's the man when it comes to that. Like, he knocked out Spawn, no problem. I tried to tell everybody he was going to do that too. I was like, dude, he's got this. But
I was eyeing that play too, and I didn't do it because I was like, Mike, you're being stupid. Like, just leave this alone. And I was kicking myself after.
Yeah, dude, Alvey's the man over in karate combat. We'll see how long it lasts. I mean, he's got some tough competition coming up this year. But
isn't Rebellis in his weight class?
Yeah.
But they allow grappling, right? To an extent.
Little. Yeah, it's like a little.
This dude's just gonna keep taking Rebellis down, popping a jab, and then taking him down again, and he's gonna win.
Watch him knock him out. That'd be something.
That would be something.
If they give me a good enough line.
Imagine Twitter if Sam Alvey knocks out fucking Rebellis. Like,
if they can give me like plus 800, I'm throwing $20 on that, no problem.
Yeah, I would throw a quarter unit on that too. Rebellis is one of the biggest shocks to me in like recent years. Like, I thought he would be at least like a competent heavyweight.
No,
but he just didn't last at all. Josh Parisian lasted longer. Jared Vandera lasted longer in the UFC than Rebellis.
Yeah. Who did he outlast? That Braxton Smith is about it. Like, who else at heavyweight? I mean,
I forgot about Smith.
He had one fight, right? Just one.
Who was it? Was that who do you
Parker
fight?
Porter?
Porter?
Yeah. Dude, Parker cashed me a bag that night. Let's go.
Isn't he doing really well now in BKF?
He's in bare knuckle.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Love it. Love that for him. But all right, we can move on. We got Adam Fugit versus Islam Duatov. Who you got here, Key?
Yeah, I got Duatov. I have real questions about Duatov, long-term grappling, cardio concerns. But I think that the UFC is obviously teeing him up here to get a win. Fugit is just I think he's just a savvy vet. I'm sure they'll come in with a decent game plan, but he's just so athletically not gifted at all that it's just hard to overcome the athleticism advantage here. So I think that here Duatov will pack him up in round 1. But I do have serious questions about Duatov long term. Not a guy that I'm looking to or was ever looking to parlay this week.
Yeah, I'm on the same page. I think he wins. I think he's going to knock out Fugit in the first round. Duatov is a really nice striker, super fast, clearly has a lot of power, really slick combinations, clearly has a high ceiling, really good build for the division. But I don't trust him either. I bet against him on the Contender Series with that Antunes guy. And I'm not going to lie. At first, I was like, oh, that was a terrible bet because Antunes looked like he was on his way out. And then it kind of just paused. It slowed down, and it looked like Duatov was really slowing down. And I was like, oh, wait, he might come back. And then Duatov just finishes him. But my concerns haven't changed. If he doesn't get whoever he's fighting, Fugit or whoever comes next, if he doesn't get them out in the first round, I think he might struggle. And he might still struggle with the grappling. We don't really have a lot of information. I don't think Fugit's going to be the one to upset him, but I don't want to get involved. If anything, I'll watch. And then if he blows it in the first round, Duatov goes for it, doesn't get the finish, then maybe I'll live bet Fugit at some crazy number for a small amount, but that's about it. How about you, Tower?
Honestly, I love the way Duatov fights. Like, he's not wasting any time getting in there and just finding out. And I admire that about him. So I'm taking Duatov for sure. At some point that he'll be put to a test, but yeah, I don't see it being here. I think he's just going to be too much, too early, too fast. And I think skill set wise, I think he's got all the skills to match Fugit, even if he does get a little bit tired. So I think Duatov's got this.
I love this dude's comments. It's literally just this
awesome
every single time. I pooped before the show, Pooperton, so I feel you.
He's great. McPooperton's one of my favorites.
But all right, we can move on. I do want to say, because I'm looking at our viewership numbers now, and most of you are on Twitter as usual, and I hate that. So we're going to do what I've been doing recently. Hop in the live chat on YouTube. Leave even one comment. That's all you got to do. At the end of the show, I'm going to force these two to make a lotto parlay with me. I'm going to play it for like $25. And if it wins, I'll give you 10%. Well, one random person, not all of you. That would be insane. No, one random person. I'll put it in a wheel. I'll record it for proof. And then I'll give that person 10%. So hop in, leave a comment, talk to us. Let us know when we're being stupid. Tyler says crazy things. I say even crazier things. Let us know.
You just be ready. I'm going to try to one up Mike on the craziest thing said on this show today.
And he'll probably beat me at it. But all right, next up, we got Ateba Gautierre versus Robert Valentine. I don't remember who's next, so I'm just going to go. Interesting fight. I do think that Ateba probably knocks out Valentine in the first round. I am really excited about Ateba in the UFC. I think he's got a really high ceiling. I think it's insane that he's only 23 years old, extremely athletic, super physical, and already really talented. Like, his striking is nice. It's not like super sloppy. He's actually putting together clean combinations. He's leading the exchanges. I like his game a lot. The grappling clearly still needs some work. I backed him on the Contender Series in hopes that he'd be able to survive the grappling, and he did. That was good. But I am still a little bit worried about that. And I am still a little bit worried about his cardio. And honestly, I don't think that his chin has really been tested either. So for me here, I tend to be leaning dog or pass. And I do think I'm going to get to a Valentine play. I haven't yet. I get it. He's very hittable. I understand that. I understand that Ateba can 100% knock him out. And like I said, I think that's the most likely outcome. But I also kind of think that Valentine might be able to knock him out because I think Valentine also hits really hard. He's a pretty creative striker. He's dangerous in the clinch. And again, Ateba hasn't really been tested in the chin department by anybody. Jose Medina has no threat whatsoever in the hands. The fella he fought in the Contender Series is a pure grappler. And before that, he didn't fight anybody really with a lot of power. So Valentine's probably the first guy who's actually throwing heat his way that he hasn't felt before. And I think he very well might be a 0 on the mat as of now. I know he's at Manchester Top Team. I think that's a great gym, but not necessarily the best for grappling, especially, early on in his career. I'm just not convinced it's going to be amazing. Now, Valentine's not some kind of D1 wrestler or somebody who's just going to come out here and get takedowns, but he's an opportunistic guy on the ground, and he does have slick submissions. He does have a slick back take, and it wouldn't be the first time that a very athletic and a great prospect got audited on the ground. Mufasa comes to mind. I had him on the Contender Series, and then I backed who's the guy who beat him? What's his name again?
Carlos Vera.
Then I backed Vera for the same reason. Now, did I expect Vera to knock him out? Absolutely not. I'm not going to pretend. I thought he would submit him, but I've got a similar read here where I think that Ateba likely knocks him out. But I think the number's crazy when we don't know a lot of things about Ateba yet. And he's fighting probably the most dangerous guy he's fought to date. And I do think that Valentine can sub him and possibly knock him out. So it's dog or pass for me. I haven't found my way to the dog yet, but I'm kind of just letting the market do its thing. And then I'll get involved soon. How about you, Tyler?
Yeah, I'm staying way away from this one. But yeah, Ateba probably wins. Mostly. So a lot of people are talking about the grappling edge for Valentine, and I get that, but he doesn't really shoot a lot of takedowns in the open mat. He needs to, a lot of times he's getting people to the ground because he hurts them and follows them to the mat, or hurts them and is able to take them down off of what isn't really a takedown, right? He could do that. I don't think it's his most likely pass. So I think he's going to get stuck striking with this dude. And could he outstrike Ateba? Yeah, probably, but he also could probably get hit and then die because Ateba hits really hard. Everybody was talking about how durable Jose Medina was, and Ateba didn't get the memo. So the dude clearly hits hard. If nothing else, the power edge goes to him in a matchup. And also there's two ways to look at the Valentine side. One is, well, his back's up against the wall. He's got 2 losses. If he loses this, he's going to get cut and he's going to have to rise to the occasion. The other is, dude's worried about losing his damn job and he's not going to be able to perform as well. I don't know what type of fighter he is. We haven't seen enough of him for me to know whether that's going to help him or hurt him. usually it's going to hurt people. Very few people are the type that can just like when they're put in that situation, rise to the occasion. Most people, that's added stress, pressure, and makes it a lot harder to focus. So I'm going to take Ateba, and unfortunately, I think Valentine's getting cut.
Yeah, before I pass this to Key, can we just recognize how stupid Medina is? This dude was getting landed by bombs. He's dying, and he's like, come on. like, bro, I get it. That's what got you to the dance.
That's his gimmick.
But can you even just try? Like just try.
He's the Randy Marsh of MMA. He ain't hear no bell.
Didn't hear no bell. And the other thing I wanted to talk about was the Valentine Finney, the one judge who just had it up to here with Torres Finney and just gave the fight to Valentine, even though there's no way he won. He was just like, I've had enough of this. I'm not giving him this fight.
Finney fights in a couple weeks.
Yeah, I love Finney, but I think he's gonna die. But Key, what do you think about this fight?
Yeah, I think this is a weird one because I also want to get involved with Valentine, if I'm being honest. But it's just tough because Atiba, although he looks like a guy that should be swinging nothing but bombs, he actually sits behind a really patient jab. And to show patience against a guy like Medina, who you know you're going to beat the shit out of, to me was a mature performance. And then to end it off with that knee was just beautiful. I think that the guys, and from what I know, has a combat sambo background. And although his grappling looks a little sus at times on the regional scene, I do think that there's a chance here that Valentine can find a sub. But again, it's just like, he's not going to proactively grapple. And I would like for that to be the case, or I would like to feel like that's a real option here. Because I do think that that's where most of his upside lies, is in transition, scrambles, and any sort of grappling exchange. On the feet, Valentine gets hurt by a lot of people. And he does have pop himself, but it's just wild exchanges. And it's really weird because if you watch the Tough series, like, everybody was talking about how high IQ this guy is, and he was cornering all of his teammates, all this shit. And then you watch him fight, and it's like, who the fuck is that? Like, so it doesn't add up. He's a weird guy. He's gonna come in and fight hard as hell. I have no doubt about that. But I do think the Gautierre ends up getting him out of there. I think the Valentine is just a little bit too reckless without game plan. He's in Thailand just seeming to do his own thing with no real head coach, no real game planning. So I think that Gautierre gets it done. I know these at Manchester top team, I believe, with Lerone Murphy, spoken about how big Lerone has been in his development. And we know how good Lerone's fundamentals look and how well that they train over there. So I expect for Atiba to continue making a lot of strides. I think that he's probably one of the most exciting prospects. And I know everybody loves Mansour. But I think that he was, in my opinion, much more exciting than Mansour.
I agree. I also think he'd beat Mansour.
Mm-hmm. At least we'll have a pretty good gauge of that after this fight, I think. But yeah, I mean, if he does like we think he's going to do here, then yeah, probably.
All right, we can move on. Next up, we've got a fight that I'm pretty passionate about. We got Francisco Prado versus Nikolai Tanakov. Tyler, start us off. What are you feeling here?
I'm not passionate about this at all. I don't want to pick either of them. This is another situation where this is the third fight on the card that we've gone through that I'm like, yeah, I'd probably pick against both of these guys if I could, but I can't. Tanakov, I don't think he's won in the UFC yet. Pretty sure he's like what, 0-2, 0-3, 0-3, right? And
0-2
was like, was that
0-2, 0-3 if you're going to count Contender Series, I guess.
Okay, yeah, I guess I was looking at Contender Series. Okay, yeah, 0-2. So this is probably not a good look. Prado, I guess he has one win, but like, also just losing in the UFC. So like neither guy has done anything that's given me a lot of, hope for their future in the company. Yet here they are on a pay-per-view slot. And I think that's kind of because like Prado has been exciting in losses. So that makes sense that he's put in here. Tanakov, I don't know. He hasn't really been exciting. And his last fight was kind of, I don't know. At the end of that got a little bit weird. So I don't really know how to go with this one. I don't want to pick either of them. I think I ended up when I was in my video, I did essentially what you do when you flip a coin, except I didn't have a coin on me. And I ended up on Prado with the 50-50 flip. So we're going to go with Prado, but not for any reason other than like I have to pick someone. And I don't think either of them really like have super bright futures in the UFC. I do give the durability edge to Prado because that dude's head looks like it's made of cement. Like the dude, he just gets hit and it doesn't seem to phase him. So I'll give him that. And he probably is going to do a little more, but then again, I'm just trying to justify the flip. So I don't know. Prado, I guess.
How about you, Key?
Yeah, this is one that I feel weird about. I want to get to Veretennikov, dog bet, but he just does so little. Like there's just so much staring, and I honestly I don't know how he ended up here. Guys like Veretennikov can get signed, but Lucien Cater can't. It's insane. But
Seriously.
I think that here though, I think that Prado, one, this is not the correct weight class for Prado. And I get that his head is probably weighs 100 pounds itself, but there has to be a way for him to get down to 155 pounds because he's outmatched at 170. And that's regardless of if he wins this fight or not. He is not going to have a long future in the UFC. So I think that here Prado will probably come forward and throw big hooks as always and hope they land. But Veretennikov is pretty defensively responsible. And I don't expect for him to just get instantly clipped in round one. So for that reason, I think this ends up playing out as a close, probably split decision type of fight. And it'll probably end up on being on who wears damage the best. So I'm passing. If line were to somehow go Prado's way hard, I know that I would get in on Veretennikov, but for me, I'll pass on this fight. But pick wise, I'll go Prado very, very slight lean.
Yeah, so I'll be solo here. I do like Veretennikov, and I like him quite a bit. And I've got a few things to touch on. So first off, Tyler mentioned the durability for Prado, and I agree that Prado's very durable, but I'm not convinced that he's more durable than Veretennikov. Veretennikov's over here at welterweight taking huge shots from guys like Michael Morales, like Barlow. I know Barlow wasn't 100% or whatever, but that dude still hits really, really hard, and he was taking his shots just fine. And I get that Vanderford got him out of there, but that's such a different matchup. Like, first of all, Vanderford's not a small man. And second of all, he's a really good grappler, which Prado is not. Prado just doesn't have that skill. He doesn't have many skills is a problem. And like Key mentioned with Veretennikov not doing much, I agree. He doesn't do much, but Prado's going to kind of negate that because he's just going to come to him because that's all Prado's got is forward pressure and just throw. So Veretennikov's not going to have an option. Either let Prado hit you or return fire, and I think he's going to return fire. I think he's a better striker. I think the major thing here is the clinch. Veretennikov is really good in the clinch. Prado is really small, and he's not even going to really have to work that hard to get his knees up to his head. Like, because he's so small, that knee's going to go right up there, and he can go to the body too, and I think he's going to brutalize him in the clinch. And then Prado is durable, but eventually that comes to an end for everybody. You know, we were saying that about Van, and then Van got knocked out by Charles Johnson. You know, I know since then he's come back and done really well, but I don't really put Van and Prado in the same camp in terms of skills, ceiling, or anything like that. I don't understand at all why Prado moved up. I don't know who's advising him. When you're 23 years old, that's the easiest weight cutting is ever going to be for you. It's only going to get harder as your career goes on. Why would you move up now? Like, I have a hard time believing that he couldn't make 155. And I don't understand how you lose to Jamie Malarkey, how you lose to Zeluber, who's a big 155er. And you're like, you know what the solution is? Let me go fight even bigger guys. How on earth does that make any sense? Jake Matthews looked like a high level boxer against him. And I know everybody likes Matthews now because he cashed us all a ticket, but like everybody hated him 2 fights ago. And Prado just got completely shut out on the feet. Matthews didn't have to grapple, nothing. Prado, he does not belong in this weight class. I think his best bet would have been to stay at 155, maybe take some time off, develop your game, get better. You're durable. You got that dog in you. You got good cardio. You got power. You have things to work with. Develop the skills, but he's not doing that. He's just moving up in weight class and hoping that's going to change things for some reason. And I just don't think it's going to. I think people are low on Veretennikov because of the Vanderford fight, because he behaved himself like a crybaby afterwards, because of all that. People don't like him, and that's fair. But I don't bet my money based on who I like, except Max Holloway. But I haven't even bet on him, so I'm certainly not going to be letting that affect me. But I do think that Tanakov should get it done here. I don't understand the line. I think it should be flipped. I don't get who's propping up Praau as a favorite here, because every time money comes in on Tanakov, someone's dropping bread on Praau. And maybe I'm missing something. Maybe I'll look stupid at the end of the day. I just personally can't understand it for the life of me. Let's see what we got going in the chat. I see Mark Ivanov's been popping off. Thanks for the support on the shorts, bro. We recently we hit over 1,000 shorts, so I've done that 1,000 times now, which is crazy. And we just hit 1 million views thanks to the shorts, so that's pretty cool. As for the bets, I'm pretty sure all three of us are behind paywalls, so that's why you're not getting bets. Sorry about that. There are free shows where people give out free bets, but we're breaking down the fights for you. And if I'm not gonna lie, like, we're not the best at hiding what our bets are. You could probably figure it out if you work really hard.
Yeah, if you kind of listen, like I've already dropped a couple that I had very obvious bets on. So nothing. I mean, if you're looking for couches, he's a little better at it than I am. So there you go.
Mark going crazy. I like the energy. As long as he's in the chat, I like it.
Yeah, let's go. Get wild down there.
What's up, William Robbins? Also, I did want to bring this up. Who is he calling his twin? Which one of us?
Probably Q3, I bet. It's got to be Key.
I guess, Key, you're tall, right?
Yeah, I am tall, 6'3".
That's probably it. Because
sure me, I'm not very tall.
I met Dog in person. He's the tallest person I've ever seen in my life.
Really?
That dude is huge. Did
like
you
how tall is huge? Like 6'9", 6'10"?
Nah, he's not that big. Like,
oh, okay.
I mean,
you know,
I'm slightly above the US average at 5'9", and he was towering over me. He's probably like 6'5" or something.
Oh, there you go. You're taller than me, Couch. I'm 5'8", so there you go.
Okay, we were right. He was talking about me. Okay.
It seemed obvious.
But all right, we can move on. Next up, we've got Marvin Vtori versus Brendan Allen. Key, I think it's your turn this time.
I think so. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I think this should be on the main card with the backstory. I mean, this is easy selling point. I mean, you could easily kick off a main card and show fight video, and that instantly hypes up the viewers for this. I think that this is stupid that this is on the prelims. I think here, I'm not a Brendan Allen guy. I've bet against him with Imavov. I thought that Chris Curtis beat him. I'll die on that hill. And I'm just not overall high on the guy, but it's not due to his skills. I mean, I think that he's talented and very skilled. It just seems to be that he lacks a fucking brain and implodes once he's pushed past a certain point. So if things aren't on his terms and he's not having the grappling success that he wants to have, this shit gets tricky. I think the shit could get tricky here. I do think that he's probably 10 times more talented than Marvin Vtori. But I have questions on the Vtori side, whether it be durability, what he looks like. I mean, it seems like this is desperation mode. He's talking about it's now or never. I know that he's went through a lot with the death of his little brothers, sad shit and shit that you never want to hear. So I feel bad for the guy, and it just doesn't seem like his career trajectory is going anywhere high anytime soon. So for all that reason, I can understand Brendan Allen is moderate fave. I think that this line is probably a little wide given how competitive this fight should be. But I think that Brendan Allen gets it done at home. I think that he gets it done here. I think his kick game is better. I wouldn't be surprised to see the body kicks begin to add up on Vtori, especially if Vtori isn't walking forward. So this will be interesting. There's a lot of dynamics here that I just don't know. And for that reason, it's a pass fight. But I think that it's from a money line perspective, probably dog or pass.
Yeah, I tend to agree. I can't get a good read on this fight. This is probably one of my weakest reads on the card. And it's just because they're really similar, and they have really similar skill sets. And my brain is telling me the line is probably wide, considering, is Brendan Allen that much of a better striker? No. Is it going to be easy for him to take down Vtori? I don't think so. And the only major edge I really give him is his jiu-jitsu, because he does have much better jiu-jitsu than Vtori. But is that enough to cover the price? I guess if you also add on the fact that he's fighting at home, depending how much weight you give that, maybe. I don't think it's enough, but I also don't really want to bet Vtori. I don't know where he's at. I don't know where he's at in the mental. I don't know where he's at in the career. I know that he's not that old, but he's taken so much damage where in fight years, the guy is ancient. Like, he's taken a ton of damage, and I wouldn't even be shocked if Allen hurt him on the feet. So I can see this fight playing out really close, where, you know, they're exchanging on the feet, neither guy really having a major edge. Allen shooting, not getting it. Maybe Vtori trying to shoot. Low key, like, if Vtori shoots first, he can maybe get takedowns. Allen doesn't have the best takedown defense in the world. Like, he's a better grappler, but if you go first, you can maybe take him down. So that could be a path. I could see Vtori edging it out, but if anything, like, I think the overs here as a parlay piece is better than parlaying Allen, for example, because I don't really think Allen's going to finish Vtori. Maybe he subs him. I lean towards no, though. And I just don't really want to back Vtori, even though on the money line, that's probably where the value is. I can't get a great read, and I don't want to lose extra money. So how about you, Tyler?
I'm probably way off on this because to me, I saw this and I immediately was like, oh, Brendan Allen's winning this fight, no problem. Like that, like in my head, I was like, oh, easy. And then I'm like watching like recent performances and I'm like, yeah, Brendan Allen gets this easy. And then I start listening to everybody else talk and I haven't heard a single person confident in Brendan Allen. And I'm like, why? What are we?
They never are, though. People hate Brendan Allen. Like, I usually always back him. And I remember all the time, people have always been so low on him. So
not one person. Everybody's like value on the dog. Everybody's like value on Vtori. And I'm like, what has Vtori done lately that's given you any sort of hope that he's doing okay? Like, he beat Costa a while back, but that was, I mean, you know, he beat Douv in a really rough Douv performance, but still was kind of competitive. And that was, I mean, I don't know. It's like, other than that, he's just been a punching bag in most of these fights that he's had in years. Yeah, I don't really know what. And like Brendan Allen has been competitive even in losses. Like, say what you will about him losing to Nasruddin, he won that first round very clear, and he was, you know, that makes it a competitive fight. There's 3 rounds, you know, there's 5 rounds in some fights. If you can win 1 to 2 rounds, depending on, you know, 3 or 5 round fight, you're competitive, right? I mean, unless it's unanimous or you get finished, you can't really say it wasn't competitive. Or like not necessarily like unanimous 30-27, if you know what I mean. But I don't know, like he's been competitive in all these fights. He's beating guys that you know, he's like an underdog in a lot of these and beating these guys. The Curtis fight, I thought Curtis won, but at the same time I had a bet on Curtis, so I could be biased. But either way, like Allen's looking pretty good in these fights, and like Vtori hasn't looked good even in the wins, really. Like I guess the Holland win. If you go clear back to the Holland win, he looks good, but that's because he just laid on him. But
that was also what, like 4 years ago now? It
was a long time ago. Yeah. Like
maybe even
Vitori's
more.
Had injuries since then. He's been off a ton. Yeah, I thought Allen was an easy pick, but nobody has agreed. So
stick to your guns, bro. Stick to your guns.
Yeah. Well, yes, it was too late now. I parlayed him up like right away, thinking like, oh, this line's gonna get really wide. And like, no, it's the opposite is true. I'm like, what in the world's going on here? So apparently it's apparently nobody agrees. But I think Allen should cruise. I think he's a better striker, better grappler. The only thing he doesn't have over Vtori is durability, and that's because I don't know if anybody does.
Do you think either guy has like a physicality edge? I feel like Vtori might be more physical.
He's more durable, but I don't know if he's more physical necessarily.
Because
like, I mean, he might be like he might be able to like pick up and put down heavier weights, but like I feel like the speed and like fluidity of Allen like makes up for any of that would actually translate to the cage. So yeah, I don't know. I think it's Allen all day, but
fair enough. So before we move on, Tristan's asking us about the spread. I'll comment first because I'm pretty passionate against spread bets at chalk. I know Pegasus. I love that dude. I know he's doing pretty well with his chalky spreads of the week. Mm-hmm. So people make it work. But I learned my lesson in 2023. That was one of my big things going into 2024. I was like, no more spreads at chalk because it doesn't matter how perfect your read is. Like logically, I think most of us agree that Vtori is very likely to win at least 1 round, especially if people are making a case for him to win. But except Tyler shaking his head over here.
30-27, Allen.
But can you trust the judges? We to this day, we don't know what the judges want. They tell us it's damage over control, but we don't know. And all it takes for you to lose your chalky spread bet is 30-27 that has no business being a 30-27. You're going to hear Adelaide Bird, and you're just going to have to rip up your ticket. So that's how I feel about chalky spreads, but that does make sense to me. And Tyler was shaking his head no, so I know how he feels. How about you, Key? You're muted.
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 Still muted.
I think I can unmute him.
Nothing.
Wait, I think you're unmuted now. Try talking.
Testing.
Yeah,
Yes.
you're good.
Okay. Yeah, I think chalky spread bets in general is bad process unless your name is Pegasus Picks.
Yeah.
Apparently I guess he just dodges all bullets. But yeah, I agree with Mike here. Trusting judges consistently is just going to be bad process in MMA, so I'll pass on that.
I love Pegasus so much, bro. I'm not going to lie. Half the reason I tune into your guys' podcast is to see what name he's going to mess up next. When he said Chickadaisy, I had to stop.
That shit is insane.
I had to stop my car because I was like, this is just not normal. And I was just dying. I hit up Douv right away. I was like, what the fuck did he just say? I love that. And it turns out we know each other from real life, too. He was roommates with my frat brother in college.
Yeah, that's fucking crazy.
What a wild world.
Yeah. Binghamton represent, baby. But all right, we can move on. What's Mark's strategy? I'm curious. Double 50 euros every card and not get greedy per card and wait for the next week. Okay. Interesting.
I like it.
All right. Moving on. We got a fight I'm super hype about. We got Kyler Phillips versus Vinicius Aloe Vera. I think it's my turn. I like Phillips here. I like the underdog. I've always been super high on Phillips. I've said from the beginning, so I got into MMA gambling early 2020. I think one of the first fights of Phillips I watched watched live and had already bet on was Song Yadong in 2020. Let me pull it up. That was 2020. Yeah. So that was the first time I bet on him. And I've been high on him since then. I've said since the beginning that I think out of MMA Lab, he's the best bantamweight in that camp. Not Sean O'Malley. I think it's him. Now, not the best cardio. I can agree there. But I think skill-wise, he's the best bantamweight at MMA Lab. And I maintain that. I think the dude is really, really good. And I also think that the cardio thing is a little bit oversold. Yes, he clearly falls off. It happened against Rob Font. It happened against Paiva. It wasn't just a one-off. But there's also fights where he's looked phenomenal in the third round. It's all about gas tank management. He doesn't have the best, but he's also young enough at 30. He just turned 30 recently at a great camp where I think it's something he can work on, something he can still fix. I don't think it's too late for him. And against Vinicius Aloe Vera, I think his cardio is also being a little bit overrated. He has good cardio, sure. He's been doing phenomenal. Yes, he's an awesome fighter. He's got the aura, but skill for skill, I think Kyler clears him completely. I think he's the better striker. I think he's the more technical striker, the more dynamic striker, has the better angles in the striking. His grappling is clearly better. I think he's probably one of the best. So in terms of pure wrestling, he's probably not the best that Aloe Vera's fought so far. If Ricky had actually wrestled more, I would say that Ricky's a better pure wrestler. And Saeed, I don't know about Saeed. He's a striker mostly, but I will say that I think Kyler's jiu-jitsu is the best that Aloe Vera's ever faced. I don't think he's ever faced anything like that. And I think that Kyler can take him down. I think Kyler can take his back. I think he can control him. I think he can sub him. I think he can hurt him on the feet. It wouldn't be the first time Aloe Vera got hurt. And with his defense, with his hands down, wouldn't be shocking. And Kyler also really does well in the big cage. If I'm not mistaken, his 2 losses are in the small cage, and all the rest of his fights in the UFC were big cage, and he won. It's because of his movement. He needs the movement. Now, how do you stop a guy like that? You cut the cage, you back him up, and you pressure him. That's something Aloe Vera can do. But when you do that against somebody who can also grapple, then it gets a little tricky because you close the distance, they're just going to change levels and they're going to take you down. So, of course, I'm worried about him gassing, but I do like Kyler Phillips to get it done. And I will say, I think the submission prop is so mispriced. I was seeing plus 1,100. I mean, what is that? That's just crazy to me. So for me, it's Kyler, and I think he can sub Aloe Vera here. How about you, Tyler?
So I think both of these guys are talented. I think both of these guys are rightfully in the spot where they should be fighting other talented prospects. I won't be surprised if either guy wins. But with that said, I do have to make a pick. And I ended up on the Aloe Vera side. And 2 reasons why. One, because it's a pay-per-view, and pay-per-view, the favorites always seem to win, especially on the lower part of the card. So we're going with that. I remember the last pay-per-view, I got 4 picks wrong because I ended up going in with like 7 underdogs. And well, that's what happens. Either way. I also think that Vinicius is going to have enough takedown defense to keep it on the feet. I think on the feet, both guys are competitive. I think Vinicius hits a little bit harder. I think, Phillips has some finish upside, but I think Oliveira's got a lot of finish upside. The dude is a dog. I don't like the way he throws punches. Well, sometimes I do. As the fight goes on, his punches get absolutely wild, Oliveira's. But like they're still effective somehow. I've tried to fade him in the past. I tried to fade him against Ricky. I was so wrong. I couldn't have been more wrong. I'm pretty sure I tried to fade him against Sopai as well. And it was looking good until it wasn't. That could be another situation here. I can't fade Oliveira anymore. Phillips, he's pretty good, but yeah, the line's not big enough for me to get to him. Give me Oliveira.
All right. How about you, Key?
Yeah, so I am a Kyler victim. I got in early at like minus 225. Me and Drive did.
Me too. I had like 5 units down, I think.
Yeah, I thought it was gonna be like the freest money ever. I was at, I think, like my state fair or something, and then turn on my phone to Kyler huffing and puffing and dying. So I have PTSD a little bit, so that's, I think, part of my bias here. And I back Loke Dog in his last fight at plus 225. And I think that a lot of those same dynamics are here also. I think that Kyler is more talented than Saeed, though. And I do agree that Kyler's probably the most talented guy out of MMA Lab. I think that's, I mean, just skill for skill wise, I think that he's very, very good. But I think that either it's the mental side, the cardio, a mix of both, that limit him as a fighter. In the Paiva fight, that was an ugly look, but the Font fight was just unreal. I mean, it seemed like he had no reason to be gassing out after a relatively easy round 1, and then proceeds to just die and falls off of a cliff. And that for me is just very, very alarming against a guy in Raw Font that's, I mean, all he's going to do is jab you. It's not like he's going to start throwing huge bombs on you and killing you. Whereas with Loke Dog, he's liable to, 1, literally bark in your face, but 2, he's going to throw huge bombs coming downhill. And part of the reason why I was glad at backing him against Saeed was the fact that I knew late he was going to look great. Technically wise, Look Dog does all of the wrong things, it feels like. Feet's all fucked up, big swings, big misses, but the guy just seems to love fighting. Like, that's just simply what it comes down to. And he weirdly has rhythm and timing. I mean, the Rabona kick and the finish at the end of the Simone fight was just one of the coolest sequences on the feet that you'll see. But I think that here I can see him rolling downhill in rounds 2 and round 3 against Kyler. And if Kyler sells out for the grappling early and doesn't get it, I think that it's like instantly fight is damn near over at that point. So I hope that Kyler is at least patient going for the grappling, because I do think that that is where he can look like a decent sized favorite, is if he begins to get that grappling success. But if he sells out for it early, I think that he's going to be in big trouble, because Loke Dog does have solid takedown defense. His grappling defense overall has just gotten better since getting to the UFC. On regionals, he was getting put on his flat backed a lot. And now we're seeing that his takedown defense has gotten better. He's getting up off the mat. And again, that dog. And I know this in a bigger cage. And Draw made a good point on the Beat the Line broadcast this week that I don't believe that Kyler's ever lost in the big cage. And his losses are coming in the Apex cage. And that's a great point, because if you are a Kyler backer, I think that this is his best terms that you can ask for is the big cage. So for that reason, I think that this line is probably about right, in my opinion, because I do give pretty much all late upside to Loke Dog here. I do think that he's pretty durable. I do think that he's going to be able to come downhill on Kyler. And Kyler, again, is just somebody who we've known for years, has all the talent in the world, but has lacked the activity and lacked the dog in him. And for me, coming off of a fight where there's a lot of questions after a fight like that, I mean, that's just a bad look, straight up. The Raw Font fight is just an awful look. To come off of that fight and then get a guy that is going to be in your face nonstop, that's a tough draw for me. So All right, for me, it's a pass. If line were to come in and this somehow like went to pick him or something, I'd probably get to a low dog bet. I'll be honest. But for me, I'll pass, but pick low dog. But would not be surprised to see Kyler pull off the upset here.
All right, makes sense. We can move on. Next up, we've got Michael Johnson versus Daniel Zeluber. I'm just gonna wing this. Tyler, you go.
Total pass fight. Because Michael Johnson can both beat anyone on the roster and lose to anyone on the roster on any given day, and his record suggests just that. I mean, dude hits hard. He has the skills to beat just about anybody, but then he also has the skills to just like lose to anyone or make it competitive with anyone. I lean Zeluber, but like the line is silly, and I'm just going to pass entirely. So we're going to take Zeluber to probably win a decision after outlanding him at range, and maybe there's a couple of dicey moments, but probably we're going to say 29-28, 29-28, and a 30-27 Zeluber are the 3 scorecards you get, and we're going with that.
Okay, very specific.
Yes.
How about you, Key?
Yeah, I'd like to know y'all's thoughts on round 2, round 3, Zeluber. I see some plus 450, plus 700 even on round 3. I believe it's what is it? It is 10 out of 12, I believe, of Johnson's finished losses coming round 2, round 3. So I think that there's some potential edge over there on that end. And I'll be looking at that prop, but I think that here Zeluber has all the tools in the world. I think that he's supremely talented. I think that there's been a questionable decision making in his fights. I'll put it like that. Questionable decision making. And I do think that he is still as good as advertised, though. 6'1" with that range and that length at this weight class. I would not be surprised to see him be in that top 10 by age 30. I think that that's a very realistic thing for him. But Michael Johnson, I don't know how, but the hand speed is still insane at this age. 39 years old is still has insane pop and hand speed. So I can see Zeluber getting clipped here. Minus 600 is not a line that I'm willing to be parlaying. I think that is just insane. But for me, I think that round 2, round 3, Zeluber is probably a way to play this. But we'll see if I end up getting down on that. But Michael Johnson is not bad. But again, all it takes is one moment for shit to turn dark for him.
Yeah, I don't hate the round 2, round 3 numbers. I was like thinking about ITD. I might take a look at those. I just think Zeluber is going to get it done. For me, this is just pick winner spot for me. Like Michael Johnson probably makes this competitive, probably makes a good showing, probably looks like value, lands a lot of shots. He is still really fast, still has pop in his punches, but he's really hittable. He's super inconsistent, and I think he might struggle with the movement of Zeluber. I'm pretty high on Zeluber. I think his ceiling's pretty high. Like he said, I think top 10 minimum by 30 years old, and he's still got 4 years before that because he's only 26. He's 13 years younger here. I think the big cage is really going to favor him, and I think it would really take like an Ogden-style performance for him to drop it here, which is possible. And at minus 600, that's why you don't get involved. But I do think he gets it done, and I lean towards like I forget what I think I filled out on my Tapology. I think I did round 2 KO for Zeluber, if I remember correctly. That's what I'm thinking. How about you, Tyler?
Already did this one. Decision. 30, 27, 29, 28, and 29, 28 Zeluber.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. The extremely specific decision. All right. We can move on. Next up, we got a really interesting matchup. We got Dan Ige versus Patricio Pitbull. And Key, you're going to start us off for this one.
Yeah, I think here this fight probably should be lined closer. I think this is a little bit of recency bias after the Danny Gay knockout. I backed Danny Gay in that fight. Apparently, judges had that 2-0 Danny Gay, which being honest, I did not see that. But shout out to judges for seeing whatever the fuck they want to on any given day. But I think that this is a much closer fight than the line indicates. And one of the lines has to be off. Over 2.5 is minus 275, and Danny Gay's minus 220. Danny Gay's not justifying those types of price tags unless he gets the knockout. And that's just that's how he fights. That's his process. I mean, there's just not enough filling space. There's not enough wrestling to justify those price tags for Danny Gay. Patricio does have a grappling path here. I believe Danny Gay has lost every UFC fight that he's been taken down in. So that's a fun little stat to note in this fight. And I do think that Danny Gay, I think that it's reasonable to look at KO shots here. But honestly, I'm just not super enthused to get in on this fight. Pitbull is still legit in my opinion. I know that he was just a statue in the Yair fight, but he's still a high level guy. Fought a lot of good competition. So it's a pass as of right now. I may get in on Ige KO. These are some big numbers for a guy that is literally his only way of justifying. So Ige KO or pass for me, but we shall see. Pick wise, Ige.
Yeah, I'm pretty much on the same exact page. Like, I'll pick Ige because he's younger, he's had better performances, fought the higher level of competition, at least in the UFC, has the knockout upside, I think, better durability probably, but I feel like the line's off. And I had a Pitbull decision only last time out. That sucked to lose, but I know he looked off, but I think part of it was probably the Yair matchup. Yair's just huge. The closest that he's fought to Yair would probably be like Adam Boric, but Yair, I think, is a little bit trickier. I mean, let's not forget Yair made Max turn into a wrestler. Max was shooting takedowns for the first time since who knows how long when they fought. Like, Yair's tricky. We like to hate on him. It's kind of a dummy sometimes, but the dude is tricky on the feet. And I think the other part of it is that Pitbull for so long wanted to be in the UFC or prove himself against UFC competition when he was at the top of Bellator. It was in his head for the longest time. He finally got it. And I think part of it was the bright lights really got to him. I don't think he's going to be the same way here. And at the same time, like, I think this is a much better matchup for him. Like, their styles are very similar, at least on the feet, right? They're both two strikers who don't have the longest reach, who kind of have to work inside of the pocket in boxing range. And at range, at distance, like, I think Pitbull has more weapons. Like, I think that his jab is going to be more effective. I think his leg kicks are going to be more effective. And I understand that he pretty much never wrestles these days, but when you're looking at somebody who's almost plus 200 now, you're going to think about all the things they have in their toolbox, and the wrestling is still there. He'll go to it occasionally. And I think his control is solid when he does wrestle. I think his jiu-jitsu is solid, and I think he's got a nice back take. And with Ige, it wouldn't be the first time he loses a round based off of a back take or a little bit of grappling. So if I think that the striking is super close, grappling upside, however rare it is for Pitbull, is still on the Pitbull side, like, I'm going to want to play Pitbull at this number. I haven't yet, but it's something I'm strongly considering. I just think I have time to wait and think about it because it doesn't seem like many people want to play Pitbull. Seems like everyone wants to play Ige, so I think I'm going to get a better number if I do get involved. So I'll probably do that. It's nerve-wracking because of the recent performance, but some of the best spots are often recency bias spots, and I think this might be one of them. I was with Key in that I also bet Dan Ige against Sean Woodson, and I'm also very grateful he got the knockout. And I'm also grateful for the terrible judges that had him up anyways, but I did not think he was up. Now, Woodson also a very different matchup, but my point is Ige's never been a good minute winner. That's why he's got a losing record in decisions. He's not a good minute winner, whereas Pitbull has been a good minute winner. He's maybe not the most active in that he's throwing a ton of volume, but he knows how to win minutes. He knows how to win moments. He knows how to win decisions. He knows how to put things together. And I get that he's old, but I still think he's pretty good. So I'll pick Ige also, but it's a dogger pass for me as well. How about you, Tyler?
I hate this fight. I wish it wasn't happening. It sucks. I'm going to be bummed out no matter what happens. It's stupid. I wish I could pick Patricio. I want to pick Patricio. I picked him last time. And then the only reason I'm not picking him this time is because I know that it would just be too good to be true that Patricio comes over here and gets a win. I'm just going to be let down, and it's going to make me upset and mad. So I'm going to be mad no matter what happens. If Patricio loses, I'm upset. If Ige loses, then I got another pick wrong, and everybody gets to tell me how stupid I am next week. So I hate this fight. I hate that it's happening. I have to pick Ige just because I feel like it's one of those fights. We just can't have nice things, Mike. That's why we can't have nice things. And it would just be too good to see Patricio come over here and get some wins. You know, it would just be too nice. So yeah, I guess I'm taking Ige. I don't like it. I'm gonna be conflicted watching the fight. I'll be bummed out no matter what. Everybody's like, but wouldn't you be happy either way? The guy you wanted to win, or you got your pick right? No, it doesn't work like that. It doesn't work like that at all. You can only get 2 negatives. You can never get a double positive. So yeah, I guess I'm taking Ige. I hate it.
Whatever. Feel that. I can relate. But all right, speaking of things I hate, we got Kevin Holland versus Daniel Rodriguez. And of course, I get to start this off. I feel like I'm crazy. I feel like I'm just crazy.
You are.
Like, I'm sorry. 3 fights ago, it was unanimously agreed that Kevin Holland is a moron and we can never trust him again. And now he's minus 500 because he beat Gunnar Nelson, who fights once in a century. And then he beats Vicente Luque, who just is done. And now he's minus 500, I think was the last time I looked. Like, what the hell? And I understand. Like, I get it. People are saying, when has Kevin Holland ever lost a fight like this, you know, against a primary striker at 170 and an older guy? He hasn't. But I just don't trust him. I don't. And like I said, I listen to a lot of content, and I know a lot of people who are heavy on Holland. Heavy. I know me and Key both know somebody with 8 units on Holland. I can't. So I went into the tape. I was like, okay, like, maybe I should just not make this hard on myself. Everyone's super confident. Maybe this is a parlay piece I can just use. So that's how I went into the tape, and I just couldn't do it. Like, I see the advantages. I get it. Much faster, much better at range, hits much harder, is in his flow right now, isn't 39 years old. I get it. But like, D-Rod is pretty nice still to me. I know that he got a lot slower, but I'm watching him like, I still think his boxing's good. I can still trust him that if he's not getting knocked out, he's going to throw high volume. And personally, I'm not seeing a lot of Kevin Holland sub upside. I feel like Kevin Holland sub upside is dependent on either A, you shooting on him, or B, a club in sub where he hurts you and then you shoot on him and he subs you. But I don't see D-Rod's reaction to being hurt to shoot on Kevin Holland. Like, I don't see that. So if I think that Kevin Holland only wins this on the feet, but he's minus 500, and just off of my eye test, like, it's just not passing, so I can't do it. I'm not betting on D-Rod. I don't want to do that. I don't want to bet on him. I do think Holland wins. I think Holland probably finishes him. But I'm just really surprised by how much people are trusting him this week, and I thought maybe I'd have a parlay piece in him, and I don't normally parlay minus 500s, but I thought maybe everybody's so confident, maybe I'll be confident too. But when I taped it, I couldn't see it, because I'm also hearing people say, like, you know, the only way that D-Rod can win is by a close decision. Okay, yeah, but he's plus 400. You know, if he was minus 200 and his only path was a close decision, then that's an obvious fade. But if we're admitting that he can win a close decision and he's plus 400, it's probably good enough. I don't know. I don't want to get involved. I'm trying not to back ancient fighters. I did it last week. I lost on Cater, lost on Wonder Boy, even though I deserved that one. I'm not going to do it. I'm going to leave this one alone. Just going to watch it. Kevin Holland will win. They're probably going to give him a harder opponent, and maybe I'll get a better line to fade him. But yeah, I'm good. How about you, Tyler?
Yeah, I think Holland hits him with that 45-70. I think it's Holland all day here. Here's the problem, though, is like that people are missing. They were all done with Holland, this, that, and the other. He gets grappled all the time. The thing that they're forgetting, or people that were saying that, is like his striking defense is pretty solid. Like, the only person that's really landed with some heavy damage on Holland that I can think of at all is Wonder Boy. And I mean, come on. The only thing that saved Bonfim from getting beaten like Holland was diving and pushing it against the cage. Like, I get it. Like, he did what he had to do to not just get mauled. And that makes sense. It was a good strategy by Bonfim. I don't think he won. Either way, it was good strategy. Holland, other than the Thompson fight, nobody lands like heavy shots on him that like hurts him. You know, like, he's able to either roll out of the way of shots, just get out of the way. His range is insane. The dude's got a freakish long wingspan. So closing that distance is extremely tough. He's an accurate striker with fast hands. Like Dravi was saying that their speed advantage for Holland is crazy. Yeah, all that stuff's true. So I think it's one of those things where, like, Holland's just going to have enough advantages in the striking that I don't see D-Rod beating him. Because, like, D-Rod's got a great jab. He's got excellent volume. He's a good boxer in MMA. But, like, Holland is too. And I think Holland's just got all the natural physical advantages coupled with the fact that, like, you know, D-Rod's also, you know, he's been in a lot of close fights lately. And Holland, even though he's been in these fights, the only times it's close is when people are grappling him. So I'm going to say Holland gets him pretty easy here. Probably, I don't know if he gets a knockout, though, because D-Rod's kind of tough, regardless of what it may look like at times. I think D-Rod, I mean, because I know Ian Gary knocked him out. I'm going to take Holland, and I think it's going to be, I think he gets a finish at some point. I just don't know how yet. Yeah, we'll go Holland.
I was looking at the Holland. I saw Holland KO or decision at -150. Like, I don't hate that because I'm not giving much sub upside, but also, I don't know. Everybody's seeing sub upside, and maybe I'm missing something because I clearly don't have great reads on Kevin Holland. But how about you, Key?
Yeah, I think that Kevin Holland's fine here. I agree with a lot of what you said, but also hold that the fact that the speed advantage and durability advantage is just insane here. D-Rod has no grappling upside. I just don't see how Kevin Holland fucks this up. If he does, this would be like an all-time level stunt, in my opinion. But yeah, Kevin Holland's faced the better guys. He's beat better guys. Speed advantage is absolutely silly here. I think that he finds a knockout. I mean, D-Rod's dealing with like issues with fucking Morono's jab. So we got to get real here. I think that Kevin Holland snipes one down the middle and puts him out.
Yeah, I'm pretty surprised by the KO number. That's something I was also eyeing.
You can get +2 something out there.
No way. I saw like 180. Let me see.
There happens to be a book that is
plus 195 on
FanDuel. You get +216.
Hey, Cloudbet doesn't sponsor me. Get that shit out of here. Hit me up, Cloudbet.
You want me to have them reach out to you? Because like they will.
I'd have to do some homework, but possibly.
Cool.
But all right, moving. That's it, right? Okay, we can move on from the legend Kevin Holland. We got Paulo Costa versus Roman Copilov. Tyler, start us off here and lead the charge. I got to run to the bathroom.
Cool. Okay, so it's a fight where I think Paulo Costa just isn't the Paulo Costa he once was. I don't know what happened, but like this dude just isn't doing it anymore. I don't get it. It doesn't make any sense to me. He went from just running through people to the guy can't buy a win. I mean, I guess he beat Luke Rockhold, but like, come on. I mean, it's Luke Rockhold that was way past it, already been retired. But other than that, he hasn't won a fight since he fought Yoel Romero clear back in 2019. So outside of that, every fight has just not gone his way. And this split decision to Strickland was ridiculous. It was not a split decision. He maybe won a round, but like it wasn't close. So I don't know. Costa just hasn't looked good at all since he didn't even look good against Rockhold. Like that was a terrible fight. Like neither guy looked good in that fight. And Costa like could have lost. Like it was too close for comfort. Copilov's got to be the pick just for that reason. I don't know what's going on with Costa. Like he looks like he should still have it. He just doesn't seem to have it. I don't know what's going on there. But I'm not going to bet Copilov is a massive favorite at like -2, whatever, 230 or so. I'm not going to get to it. So it's pass for me. I just can't get to Costa. Key, what about you?
Yeah, so this is a fight where I have a somewhat strong opinion here. I don't think that Copilov is what everybody thinks he is. And I've said that for a while now. People act like Copilov is fucking Adesanya in this weight class. And I don't see it at all. I get the twitchy stuff is cool, and the fast movements are cool. The body kick, he whips it. The jab is money. But I think that the guy is good whenever he gets to fight on his own terms. And we've seen whenever he does not get to fight on his own terms, shit gets a little tricky. I mean, Chris Curtis is the smaller man, has historically throughout his whole career has had issues with cutting off the cage. And in round 2, Chris Curtis was putting on an absolute clinic in that fight. And we're talking about if the if Curtis doesn't shell up as consistently as he always does and take those kicks to the arm, we're talking about a round 3 where, in my opinion, I think that Curtis probably ends up finishing him or winning. But Kopylov, to his credit, fought back and did not just flake out completely, but that does not answer all of the flake allegations, in my opinion. I think the Kopylov got out of the Cesar Almeida fight due to his wrestling. And I backed Almeida there. I backed Curtis here. So maybe I'm just a biased guy who's been trying to fade Kopylov for forever. But I will say that Kopylov hasn't beat anybody of this level, like nobody. The Hernandez fight is just a completely different matchup, and I do not care about that. Josh Fremd, I line Mike to be Josh Fremd minus 200 right now. Like, Josh Fremd is absolute shit. And then Claudio Ribeiro damn near killed him in round 1 and then decided to wrestle after he bonked him, which was hilarious. So I think that Kopylov has gotten solid matchmaking, has done what he's supposed to guys who are lesser strikers than him. But Costa, and that's the question, because it's an if with Costa in every case. Whenever he comes to fight, it feels like at this point. But if Costa, as he has said, is going to come out and get back to the style that got him his title shot, which is going downhill and being a bowling ball, the guy that we saw against Yoel Romero, which from all signs, from what I can see, he's still physically a freak. Athletically, he still has pop. He's still able to find body shots in range. And that's something that I was impressed with going back in tape, was that Costa has better boxing than I've given him credit for. I thought that the guy was a little bit more flash rather than substance. But I mean, whenever he's rolling downhill, I mean, he finds the body really well. He digs really, really hard. And I don't think the Kopylov is a guy that wears damage that well. I mean, one, judges wise, we're talking about that hair getting popped back all the time. That's bad optics. It makes me think of Patty before Patty was doing the braids. But whenever you have hair like that, getting popped is never good optics for the judges. But two, I think the Kopylov is not a guy that is willing to stay in boxing range for extended periods of time. He gets uncomfortable flat out. I mean, he just gets uncomfortable and wants to push you off. He doesn't want it. And in the Cesar Almeida fight, he had the wrestling to bail him out. In the Chris Curtis fight, Chris Curtis takes 1,000 shots before he wants to throw anything. And so I think that here, if Costa's rolling downhill, I think there's a chance that we see Costa look like the old Costa, and he steamrolls Kopylov. But everything's just a fucking if with this guy. You just don't know. He's at the press conference looking like he's coked out of his mind. I don't know if y'all saw the clips.
I was going to ask you guys, do you guys know why he was like almost crying?
No. I haven't seen it yet.
It makes no sense. I mean, the guy is just, there's a lot of questions. And he's talked about he's done a lot of traveling and is really hunkered down on training and getting back to his old self and blah, blah, blah. And I don't want to take too much from fighter interviews, but that is what I would like to hear out of a guy like that was otherwise on the secret juice gimmick for however long and doing random stupid shit like that. So I can understand Kopylov's favorite. How does Kopylov justify minus 230 in a fight where he does not have insane advantages? And he doesn't have insane advantages here. He has a jab and a body kick early. And I do worry about that, especially with the liver shot. I do worry about that early. But outside of that, what the fuck is he going to do here? Outside of a head kick, how is he going to justify this price tag consistently? So I think that this is a closer fight than line shows. I can understand dog shots on Costa. I can't understand playing minus 230 on Kopylov Pegasus picks. So yeah.
His parlay is crazy.
Crazy shit.
Yo, Dravi, how do you I don't know. I've never seen somebody troll cry before. He looked like he was about to cry. Or like he was crying. Tyler, who'd you pick? I'm curious.
I took Kopylov, but not because I feel good about it. It's just because Costa literally hasn't looked good since he fought Yoel Romero. And everybody's like, oh, but he beat Luke Rockhold. But dude, that was a horrible look. Luke Rockhold has his hands on his knees and Costa couldn't get rid of him.
But that was at elevation, right?
I don't care the dude's literally got his hands on his knees. Go hit him in the face. What are you doing?
Costa was also dying.
That should have been a finish, to be fair. I think that is a bad look. But
yeah.
I also believe that, and that's another upside here for Costa is I do think that he has real top time upside. I think that he could find the back. I think that he could end up getting a takedown up against the cage. And because Copilov does not have the get out of jail free card here with the wrestling. So Costa physicality, I think, wears on him.
Yeah, I just a pass fight, honestly.
Yeah. So for me, historically, I've been really high.
Uh-oh.
Think he froze?
I think unless he's just really good at making that face, I think he froze.
Am I back?
Oh, there
You're
you go.
back. You're back.
All right. Yeah, my connection is unstable. I hate that shit so much, dude. Spectrum is literally the worst because I pay for their most expensive package. And then I also paid some dude to run the Ethernet cable. I literally had to drill a hole in my wall. The Ethernet goes all the way from my living room to my computer. So my shit should be perfect. But we've been having outages with Spectrum like every single week so far in like the last month. But
you're a lawyer, dude. See if you can find something in that contract to get some of that money from them.
Yeah, I might have to, honestly. Maybe after the wedding. But
serious.
So I've been high on Copilov. I like the guy in general. I like him a lot. He's a really good striker. I think he's really talented. I think his speed is obnoxiously good. I think that his kicking game is really good. I think his movement before he gets tired is good. But he does get tired. I do think that, he showed against Curtis that he still can put out high output, but Curtis is also an immobile target. He doesn't move at all. He just stands there, goes like this, waits for you to finish, and then follows up. So, yeah, seeing that he can throw high output over 3 rounds, like over 100, land over 100 significant strikes was good, but I also don't know what to make of it because it was Chris Curtis. Not that he's bad, he just has no movement. With Costa, like I went into this fight thinking probably going to do nothing. Overs, maybe Copilov decision, but now I'm starting to really think about a Costa play, honestly. I know that he hasn't looked all that great, but the way they match up, I don't see how this doesn't play out close. I don't. Like round 1, Copilov will look really good, but Costa could look really good round 1 too. He can hurt him, he can catch him, he can wobble him, and he can win round 1 off of moments. And then Copilov is only going to decline after that. He's only going to slow down a bit. And I just think Costa really can win this fight. And I agree with Key in that I think Costa could maybe get some takedowns. It wouldn't be the first time in his career. Copilov clearly has really worked on the wrestling. I don't think it'll be easy, but it's probably something Costa could do. And I was trying to look on his Instagram and see, like, is he in the gym? It does seem like he's in the gym. He's training. I might do it. I haven't done it yet. I'm going to strongly consider it. I also feel like Costa low key. Like I haven't really heard anyone mention it. And it only came to me in the car today when I was driving. I want to see what it is. Like Costa round 3 knockout is what I was thinking. I'm seeing FanDuel has plus 2,500. I don't hate that because Copilov does fall off a cliff. And while Costa doesn't have the best cardio either, it's not terrible. I think it's better than Copilov's. And like I saw someone earlier mention the Strickland fight. Strickland's a really tricky dude. He's really tricky. And I don't blame Costa that. I mean, I think Costa could have done way better, but I don't blame him that much for it. What were you saying, Key?
Yeah, I think that Copilov's past couple of performances have been bad game plans. I mean, Whitaker and Strickland, we saw him back up the most we've ever seen him back up in his career. And the Strickland fight, he was literally leg kicks and jab and some head movement in between. Like, that was literally it. And I get it. Strickland's just an awkward matchup. But I think that there's just been some misfiring of game plans on Costa's end.
Yo, Key, what is it that Dravi's talking about with this, like, this Copilov sub?
Tyler, you have to start watching their show. You have
it's
to
on
start
my list for tomorrow. I usually catch it on Friday.
Peg argued in chat that the Copilov sub is really live.
Oh my goodness. Okay.
It's
Okay. I'm gonna have to check it out tomorrow.
It's one of the best shows in the space because they're sharp, but Pegasus is also just hysterical. And most of the time it's not on purpose. That's
great. Yeah. So their show is I have all my stuff organized by days because I have like headphones on all day when I'm working. Couch, you're my Wednesday guy. I usually have you on Wednesday when I'm watching my stuff. I got the Beat the Line broadcast on my Fridays as well as like the Boys Cast and some stuff like that. You know what I mean? But like I got my stuff all played out, right? So it's all good. It's getting tomorrow.
But yeah, shout out to Peg, absolute legend. And yeah, I might get to Costa. We'll see. But moving on to the main event of the evening, we've got Max Holloway versus Dustin Porier. Key, start us off.
Yeah, I think that this is a very, very different fight. I will say, if you are a DP backer, this is as best of conditions as you could ask for. You get him in his home state. You get him with Lil Wayne walking him out. I mean, the retirement fight. He's put in everything. It seems, based off the pictures, he's more cut than ever. He talked about this was the lightest he's ever shown up to fight week. Which I find a little crazy that this is the retirement fight and not the last title shot was the thing that really makes him go all in, but respect regardless. I think that DP is going to show up the best version of himself here. But I think that Holloway is just simply at another level right now. And I get it, Porier knocked him out, and we could be looking at Holloway's durability in question here. And I think that that's a real concern to have. But again, that was at 145. I think that Holloway is a certified 55er now. And the 45 cut seemed to be absolute hell for him. And if we're talking about guys who have beat Holloway, you're talking about Volk, the leg kicks, that inside leg kick, and everything's built off of that jab. It's not like Volk's just digging in. And in the third fight, yeah, Holloway got desperate and had to take some more chances. And then Volk was able to settle his feet a little bit more, sit down on his shots, and really extend that fight out. But Volk overall seems to be a matchup nightmare for Holloway due to everything is built off of that jab and inside leg kick. I think as for Dustin Poirier, the first fight means absolutely nothing to me. That's 2012, Mac's first ever loss. I'm not putting any stock into that. So in my mind, this is a rematch. And the second fight of their series, truly. In 2019, we know that Holloway was coming up.
Short notice too, right?
What'd you say?
Wasn't it short notice too?
Yeah, I believe so. Coming up in weight, was not able to truly build into the weight class at all. And I think that we saw Holloway, we now seeing him build himself into the weight class. He looks a lot more filled out in pictures this week. But I think that we're going to get the version that we got against Justin Gaethje. And I know that was the greatest cash of my lifetime. I cashed the round 5 KO and all of that. So that fight was amazing. But people tend to forget that I was screaming at my TV in round 5 because Holloway hurt him multiple times in that fight, and I felt like he deserved to get the KO already. And so that was the cherry on top to get it at the last second. And while that was cool, but he absolutely dominated that fight, in my opinion. Broke his nose in the first round, I believe, with that spinning kick at the end. And then from then on, just was a striking masterclass. I think that we've seen Holloway shown that he's able to fight off the back foot now. In the Arnold Allen fight, he showed that. We saw Korean Zombie walk forward and die, sadly. And then we see Justin Gaethje continue to try to walk forward, and Max just picked him apart. Even in the Topuria fight, it wasn't like Topuria had an easy time tracking Max down. Like, Max gave him serious work for a while there, and I believe on the numbers outstruck him for a lot of that fight. And so here we're seeing Dustin. I think that this is I don't like where Dustin's at, so to speak. The Islam fight, I get he overachieved and everybody loved it. Islam came in with staph, Dustin came in with broken ribs, whatever the case is. That equals itself out. But I think that was Islam underperforming and DP having a little more grappling success than he should have. And then in the Benoit Saint Denis fight, another staph fight, he was getting rolled and then pulls Gilly 1,000 times, finally knocks him out. That's fine. Justin Gaethje looked fine, gets head kicked into hell. Michael Chandler, though, was put into a brawl and got bonked, head butted, all types of shit. And in my opinion, should have been a much of a cleaner fight and was not able to have a clean fight in that. I think DP's best chance here is to try to dig his feet in early and try to force Max into a similar brawl like they had in the 2019 fight. But I think that Max has developed and evolved since then. I think that his footwork has gotten 10 times better. I think that his game planning is better. I think that his kick game has shown to be more diverse, but also he's able to kick at range, even backing up too and laterally. So I think that this guy is just continuing to level up. And everybody has talked about, Max has taken the most significant strikes in UFC history. And he's talked about that. And I think that that's part of the reason why we've seen him evolve as a fighter. He's fighting more smart, not taking as many chances. And I think that that's going to prove to be true here. I think that he's the faster guy. I think that he's more athletic in this spot. DP's awful hips, pulling his shorts up after every single exchange. And I think that DP's fallen in love a little bit too much with being a 1 punch, 2 punch, 3 punch type of boxer. He's not as allowing his combos to sort of flow into and using that jab to flow into stuff. He's sort of just biting down his mouthpiece and throwing two at a time and then sort of pivoting out and looking cool as a boxer. I think that Max is going to end up being able to find his timing. I think that Max will end up being able to out-volume him here. But again, you're relying on a Max decision whenever the whole crowd is going to dick suck DP every single time he lands anything in this fight. We know that the optics are going to be all towards DPs here. So I'm not excited to run to, what is it, minus 138 on Bet Online right now. That is not what I'm running to play. I understand Max at maybe pick 'em. If you got that super early, maybe even plus money, I know some people got. I think that those are fine bets. But this is sort of a nightmare if you're a Max backer here. So I think that Max is the better fighter at this stage of his career. I think that he should win. But I think that everything is against him in this fight. So for that reason, it's a pass fight. I will pick Max. But I think that this ends up being a close fight. And I honestly don't want to see either guy lose. There's a lose-lose for me. I don't want to see DP lose his retirement fight. And I think that Max has a chance to get another title shot at 155. So this is a fun fight, but sad to see somebody lose.
Yeah, you guys kind of already know where I'm going to be going with this, but I'm always really, really careful when Max fights. I really rarely bet on him because I often feel like my breakdown is probably biased because I just love the dude. I think he's amazing and awesome, but I do still kind of want to bet on him here. I'm thinking about it. It's like, I get it's 50-50. I get that Porier's fighting at home, but first of all, like the happy endings really rarely happen. Like they very, very rarely happen. And I feel like everybody's kind of ignoring, like usually when somebody has a retirement fight, that's a reason people bet against them. But for some reason, because it's Porier, because he's fighting at home, now it's a plus. That I can't get behind. Like his foot's out the door. He knows this is it. Now, yes, he wants to give it his all, blah, blah, blah. But he knows that after this, he has a life, he has a business, he has other things he's going to do. It's not the case with Max. Max is fully focused on fighting. He wants that rematch with Porier at 155. I think he could get it if he wins this fight. And I just think that at this point of their careers, Max is the one who's less washed. Max is the one who still has a career in front of him, who can still do things. Do I think he's going to end up champ at 55? Unfortunately, I don't. But I think he can at least fight for that strap. And I do think he's going to win this fight. I think out of the two of them, he's going to throw a lot more volume. I know that when they fought, the output was close. But when was the last time Porier put up those numbers? It was against Dan Hooker during like COVID, when that stuff first started. That was the last time we saw Porier go over 100 significant strikes. He hasn't done that since then. And against BSD, like he was getting his ass beat until he got that finish. And against Islam, I know he did way better than most of us expected. I did not think he would do that well. I'm pretty sure I had Islam in a parlay or something. And I remember going into the fifth because I didn't know what the scorecards were. I was like, I think Dustin might be winning. So I was really happy when he got the finish. Turned out he wasn't winning, but still, he had a really good performance. But I think because of that, people are overrating him. And I think because Max got knocked out by Ilya, people are underrating him. And everyone's just like asking me like, oh, you're not worried about Max getting knocked out brutally by Porier? What did Volk do after he got knocked out by Porier? He turned around, fought at the time the most dangerous dude at featherweight, got hurt even, and won very clearly in a very, very nice performance. And if he can do it, I don't see why Max can't. And I think that Porier at this stage of his career for Max is probably a pretty decent matchup. I really do think that Max is going to get it done. I don't see wrestling upside on either side. Like, I think it was Key who mentioned it. Max got a lot better at fighting on his back foot. I think Max is still improving at this stage of his career. And I think it's just because it's going to be a close fight. It's just going to come down to who's throwing more, who's making the adjustments better. And we even saw in their second fight at 155, Max was making those adjustments. He was going to the body. And Key mentioned it also. Like, when he moved up to 155 that first time, he didn't build up to it. He just did it on short notice. This time around, he actually bulked up, and we saw that in the Gaethje fight, and I think that it's going to be very different here. I think Max is going to have his own power in this fight, and I think Max is going to win. I think the fight goes the distance. I think that's a solid play, but ultimately, I do like Max to get it done. Again, I'm super, super biased, but Let's go, baby. How about you, Tyler?
I think Max is going to get him with a guillotine, actually. So we're just kidding. No, I mean, it should be a good fight. My wife is a notorious Dustin Poirier hater. She says he whines too much. He's always whining about something, which he kind of is. She actually just shouted it from the couch over there. So, yeah, I'm Team Max as well. I'm not going to bet this fight, though. I try not to bet main event. I ended up doing it last week. I bet on Derek Lewis, but that line just got ridiculous. So, I mean, it worked out for me. But, like, I'm trying not to bet very many main events because you're usually betting against either the best or the second best fighter on the card in most instances. That's usually not a good idea. So, unless the main event's a mismatch, usually the line figures that out anyway. It wasn't last week. They screwed that one up. But typically, I'm trying to avoid the main events. I will probably have a little action on the over, though. I do think we go over 4.5 rounds. Either we get a last-second, knockout by either guy, or we go to the decision. I don't mind that at all. I think both guys are tough. I think both guys are durable. I think it's going to be competitive. Yeah, it is also hard to take a guy that's lost to the guy he's fighting twice. Like, history shows he's 0-2 against this guy, so that's not good. But I get there a long time ago, this, that, and the other. There's a lot of other circumstances around it, sure. But at the same time, like, that's still there. But I'm gonna say Max gets it done on the decision, and if he loses the decision, that's okay too. Yeah, we'll go Max, and that me and my wife can just sit there like hating on Dustin Poirier the whole time. I'm just kidding. I don't hate Dustin Poirier. She just does.
I do want to talk about this. So, okay, Dravi, obviously he's not being underrated on the market, but at least in my experience this week, I've seen purely Dustin Poirier love. I've seen just people loving Porier, betting on Porier. I haven't seen a single Max play. I've seen a lot of plays on the fight goes and the overs. I haven't seen nobody play Max. I've only seen people play Porier, and the line hasn't budged a cent since the week started. So, yeah.
Honestly, I really want to see Max get the guillotine. That'd be so sick.
See, I wanted to say my one concern is, like, I don't think fights get fixed usually. I don't think it's scripted or anything like that. But you guys remember when Ferguson fought Nate Diaz, and Nate Diaz got the guillotine at what's his zip code? What's that zip code?
209.
And he got it at 209. Like, what are the odds? You probably have a better chance at winning the lottery than that happening.
Yeah.
And that makes me sus. Like, what if they do it sometimes?
And
what if they do it now?
Derek Lewis keeps telling you these things are scripted.
That was so funny. He's a legend, dude. He's such a legend.
But he's been saying that. He's like, oh, it's scripted. I'm winning this thing in the first round. And then, like, what's he do,
Yeah, but has he ever said that when he lost?
Probably not, dude. Like, the dude's he's reading the scripts.
But all right, guys, that's UFC 318. Before we do hop out, though, I did promise a lotto parlay. So
there he goes.
Was I frozen again?
For like a second.
Okay. How much of it did you hear?
Yeah, most of it. You're good.
Okay, so that's it for UFC 318. Before we hop out, we promised a lotto. I promised a lotto, so we're gonna give a lotto. Let's aim for plus 200 odds or higher for our legs, since we're going for a lotto parlay.
Big time. Okay.
Yeah, lotto, dude, lotto. Anybody have a leg they feel good about? Want to go first?
Give me a sec. If we're going, like, can it be anything, or does it, like, have to be on a certain book, or like what are we looking at here?
I guess let's shoot for like DraftKings.
Okay, DraftKings. Give me a second.
If both of you guys have that, I think you guys do.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know what's up. I already got one. Brushki round 2.
You dick. I wanted to do Brushki round 3 decision.
Oh, really? You think it was gonna go that long? Dude, Span's dying by round 2. Are you kidding me?
Nah. I think Span's gonna maybe take him down the first. We're gonna get some disgusting heavyweight cage pushing in the second, and then either Brushki gets him out of there in the third or wins a decision.
Round 2.
Okay.
Or how about this? Brushki's money line's gone now. It was like plus 225 like the other day. Now it's only like plus 195, I think.
Okay, hold on. I have an idea. on DraftKings, we could do Brushki and over 1.5 plus 475.
Done.
How do you, okay.
That's my pick. I got that one.
Okay. Key.
Unless you need it, I can come up with another one.
No, I'll cook now. I'll cook.
Okay.
Let's see. I'm thinking needs to be plus 200 and up.
Mm-hmm.
Shit,
I guess you have a little bit more wiggle room because Tyler picked a plus 475.
Okay, in that case, I'll go with Kevin Holland KO plus 175.
Okay.
I like it.
Kevin Holland KO plus 175. And I'm thinking Tanakov decision
Ugh. Okay.
at plus 250. That gives us plus 5,000.
They're only giving you plus 250 on that? That's insane.
Well, yeah, because fight goes is chalked.
I guess that's fair, yeah.
Okay, $25 wins 1,383. And if it hits, somebody in the live chat will get 10% of that, which would be $130. I'm playing it.
Yo, I'm in the live chat. Don't forget.
Now fuck off. You can't win.
I have honestly done vastly more for this parlay than anybody in the chat. In fact, I came up with a third of this thing. So
Fair enough. All right. Before we hop out, I'll pass around the mic, let you guys talk about anything you got going on. For me, I have my YouTube shorts. Those are up. If for some reason you want more, I have 1 minute or less breakdown on every single fight on every single card. So I have 14 up for this week. Drop them right before this. And that's going to be it for me for content. Any bets I make are probably going to be made tomorrow. Like any other bets I make are going to be made tomorrow because I'm going camping this weekend. And if you want my bets, my notes, my breakdowns, you can only get those at the House of Stims. The link is in the description of this video. Tyler, what you got going on this week?
yeah, so all the content's done for this week, but my full card breakdown's out for this card. But also, me and my guy Pick'em MMA did our PFL breakdown yesterday. We had to wait till yesterday because apparently nobody was getting odds out for that card. I don't know what's up. But yeah, PFL Africa this weekend. It's going to take place right before the UFC card. We broke that down yesterday. You can watch it on the channel. I didn't monetize that video, so you won't get ads on it because I couldn't monetize that without risking it getting taken down because things are getting wild in these YouTube parts. Coming soon, sometime in 2025, I will have some channel member only content coming out, so that's cool. Be looking out for that for all the channel members, and if you're interested in paying $2.99 to see exclusive content, I'm going to have that coming your way, but that's what I got coming out.
All right. How about you, Key?
Yeah, as always, I appreciate y'all to get me on again for the panel. I think this is my second or third time on.
Oh,
I will always tell this story. Mike is probably the reason why I'm still capping and the reason why I even got into capping. One of the first videos I saw, Prize Picks and stuff, he let me on the stream before I was even showing my face, just dark screen and a garbage mic. So
He just had the audio going.
Exactly. So it's always dope to get back to my roots and get back on a channel that gave me opportunity super early on. So I appreciate and always love to y'all. Key 3 Picks, y'all can find everything on my Twitter. Douv Club going. This is one of my bigger cards of the year. I think I'm about to add even more. I got big dog shot, big props, big parlays, Prize Picks, better underdog fantasy. I drop DFS cores. I have live bets in my Douv Club chat. I mean, we have it all. So make sure to hit my follow button on Twitter and also Beat the Line broadcast. Every week we go live. Pegasus, Dravi, my guys, Dravi's on the heater right now. So hit us up, Beat the Line broadcast. And if you want in on the Douv Club, let me know you watch this pod and I'll hit you with a special code in DMs.
Oh, yeah. All right, guys. Thank you guys all for tuning in. Peace out and good luck this weekend.